Welcome to the Haunted Hangover podcast. I'm Louie, and I'm joined by my bud Dave.
Yo, what is up? I'm here.
So Dave.
So Lou.
We're doing that for the one guy who requested it, who left a comment. I forget what post it was on our Instagram page. We were doing this for you. I forget who it was, but that So Dave, So Lou was for you because you said you missed it. So
hey,
there you go. we took care of that real quick. Get that out of the way out of the top.
Happy to do it.
Happy to do it at the top of the show. Mm-hmm. So yes, this is our post-Halloween 2023 season episode. Talk about all the fun and good things that happened this spooky season, the 2023
there was a lot.
Spooky season.
Honestly.
Yes, a very busy month as always. Busy 2 months in all honesty, September and October. Always crazy. Always a good time though. Can't complain. Could be much worse. I did a lot. I will say, and Dave, I know you're probably out of the loop with this. Probably the most content I've produced for Haunted Hangover in a 2-month period.
I believe that.
I think I released 10 episodes of the podcast, the Halloween special, a vlog.
My boy's hustling.
I'm sure I'm missing some things, but honestly, the most we've gotten subscriber-wise, too. I think we got the most subscribers.
That's great.
In the past 60 days, I'd say, from September, maybe even starting way back in August to the end of Halloween. We're still getting it with subscribers, so that's always good. And speaking of that, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so.
It would mean a lot to us. And for the YouTubers right there, look at this cute Halloween mug that I am drinking my coffee out of right now.
There you go. Very cute.
That is I think, I don't remember where we got this from. It might have been TJ Maxx or the equivalent. The equivalent to TJ Maxx that's in Pennsylvania. I don't know. But,
that reminds me. That is a nice cup, though. I do like that.
I love that cup. I drink out of it every morning.
I have so many mugs. It's fucking terrible, especially a lot of Halloween ones. I bought this mug. I went to, I don't know if they have them anywhere else but New York, but you know Savers. They have them all over Long Island. The thrift store, Savers. Yeah. So I went into one, and this was probably in August, and they had some mugs, like holiday-themed mugs. They had Halloween ones, obviously, because that was coming up. So I bought this mug because I Googled it, and it was from the 90s. So this was like an ancient, vintage Halloween mug.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I
Stuff
bought
like
it.
That's always great.
Yeah, I bought it. I brought it home, and the wife, Andrea, she goes, "That is the ugliest mug I've ever seen." She hated it. She thought it was terrible. But what's funny is all it is
mug.
I don't have it on me right now. I'd have to get up and go get it. But it's funny that the mug, all it is a bunch of kids dressed up in Halloween costumes, just like oddly standing around. And I loved it, but she hated it. And I drink coffee out of it all the time, and I make sure to do it in front of her because I'm like, this is the fucking cup you hate, but I love. But it is a very cute Halloween mug. That cup you got is very cute as well. So
I love it. I drink out of it every single morning. So
you can't go wrong with a good Halloween mug. I've got several.
I want to add something before I forget about this. As you know, and I'm sure listeners know, that myself and Sheila frequent the Mahoning Drive-In all the time.
Yeah.
The season has come to an end, so now we have to wait till next May, or I guess end of April, for it to restart again. However, there is a wonderful couple. Their names are Tom and Jen, and they came up to me probably, I think it was the Halloween-a-thon. So we saw Halloween 1, 2, and 3. All in 35 millimeter. It was awesome. And he was just telling me that he really liked the podcast. And that was cool. That was so cool to have someone come up to me and tell me that they liked our podcast. Like, especially, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, especially in a, in a setting where it's, certainly Halloween adjacent. I mean, obviously, but I mean, just the drive-in itself. And it was cool. So I just wanted to share that. So thank you, Tom and Jen.
If you visit the Mahoning, keep an eye out for Dave because Dave is always there. Dave, that's Dave's second home technically. So
pretty much, we're there at least once or twice a month. I mean, again, during the season. So
yeah. So if you guys visit next season, any of our listeners visit,
always
keep an eye out for Dave. Can't miss him. So
nope.
and before we dive into Halloween goodness, I know you met up with Grimy. You met him in person, first time in September. Great. So that's cool too. I have yet to meet Grimy in person. So
well, you're missing out on a solid guy, dude. And it was great meeting up with Grimy. We basically embraced him and his partner. We brought them back to our car. They sat with us. They hung out with us. They watched movies with us. It was pretty awesome. So I think Grimy thought like he was like going to be awkward. I'm like, dude, you're fine. I was like, there's no, like, I feel like I've known you forever. And technically we have because we've known him for a few years. So it was really like, just like continuing on if he was to be, you know, on the podcast or whatever. So it was great meeting him.
I was supposed to go to that. That was at the Killer Clowns Chioda Fest or whatever.
Yeah, but that rain fucked that up.
Yo, it was like a storm, and I was like, I'm not driving 2.5 hours by myself in the rain all the way to Pennsylvania. So I ended up sacrificing my ticket and just not going. I bought a ticket and everything, and I ended up not going. Hopefully next year we could all be together at an event. That would be nice at an event at the Mahoning.
Certainly doable. So we can.
It was gonna happen this year, but I just couldn't. I just couldn't make it work. Unfortunately, again, the Mahoning is close to you, far from me. Well, not far. It's far from me in terrible weather. Just not a fun experience.
You know what's weird? I it doesn't make sense to me, and I guess it's because I'm not geographically inclined, but. It takes us about an hour and 25 minutes to drive to the drive-in, right?
No traffic?
Like an hour and 20 minutes with no traffic, right? It only takes from New York, and especially where you are, it's probably only like a 2-hour drive or like a 2.5-hour drive. The way where it is, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. That day when I checked, I would have left around 10 a.m. That was my plan. And at that time, it said 2.5 hours. But keep in mind traffic at that time and stuff like that. And, you know, and trust me, I'm not avoiding tolls. I'll pay for the tolls. I just want to get there. So it's like, of course. I'm not even taking the long way. I'm taking the shorter way. And if there's traffic, rain, forget about it. The amount of
it sucks.
Accidents and stuff on the road, it can take you hours. And you know, I have family that lives maybe 40 minutes from there. I just have to make my way out there, and I've been there. I just have to go again. It's been like 2 years since I was last there. But it is cool that people are recognizing you and know you from the show and saying what's up and introducing themselves and all that good stuff. It's always good. If you see any of us in the wild, say what's up.
Pretty much.
Don't be afraid. We might look like assholes here, but not in real life. But yes. Now to jump into the topic at hand, I want to talk about one of the first big things this Halloween season. I'm so excited I can't even speak right now. But yes, Halloween season.
The man can't talk.
The man can't talk. And that's because we just mentioned Grimy, and Grimy was kind of like the MVP for the show this spooky season. I had Grimy on, I'd say about 4 or 5 times. I had Grimy on quite a bit, and we did a lot of taste test episodes, videos, things like that. Just trying different Halloween junk food. You know, usually, like you and I did one long video. I think we've done that twice. I did one alone last year, and this year I said I'll separate it, and Grimy's the junk food man, the junk food boy.
Sure is. So
I just had him on, and we just had a good time and tried things. But I was curious to get your take on an item, and that's Carmella Creeper. I know you tried it. I know I kind of think I remember your reaction towards it. But here for the listeners, what did you think of the new monster cereal, Carmella Creeper?
I think I either threw out the box just recently because there was just a little bit left.
Yeah.
Or there might still be in the cabinet where we keep the cereal. I liked it. It was fine. It's not as good as, obviously, the Count is always going to be the best.
Of course.
Like, Count and Blueberry, to me, are the only ones I'll really buy. Like, the other ones are fine, but they're not my go-tos. Same with the Caramel Creeper. It's not going to be my go-to. However, that green they achieved is like the green Nickelodeon wish they could have ever achieved on anything they made cereal-wise, because that green was wild.
I'm surprised. So you almost crushed an entire box.
Yeah, I mean, there's it's so I have a weird schedule where I eat like for whatever reason on Tuesdays I eat cereal for dinner. Don't ask me why. It's just a thing. So
you ate Carmella Creeper for that month? You were just having Carmella Creeper
probably like
every
2
Tuesday?
weeks or 3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, the boxes aren't. Well, no, they're family size. They're pretty big. I think I finished mine in about 2 weeks. But we both were. I'm assuming you were the only one eating it in your household.
If it's
yeah. I don't know if
it's vegan. Sheila would have tried it, but the marshmallows might not be vegan. So
yeah, so I'm guessing because we I think it's like 2 weeks. We had it maybe for like maybe 3 weeks, a couple of weekends, and it was gone. Because on the taste test, like in the video that Grimy and I did, I only had like this much of it just to try it with milk and dry. But
I mean, I just bought a family-sized box of Count Chocula. We went food shopping. It was all discounted. So
Count Chocula is still gonna. He's always gonna be the best. That's always,
and it's always gonna be a cereal no matter what. If it's not fucking October, you're still gonna eat it. So I was like, I'll make this last.
No, of course. But even the Carmella Creeper, I'm curious if they bring her back next year or not. Like, I wonder if it was like people enjoyed it so much that they'll actually, because you know how they are. They have other characters that they bring back, take away. Fruit Brute, Yummy Mummy always comes back, back and forth, back and forth. I wonder if Carmella Creeper will last where she kind of is recurring every year she comes back. But I figured, I remember you, I literally remember in the group chat, you texting, I think after you saw that Grimy and I had tried it, you texted Grimy and I and you were like, it's good, but it's no Count Chocula.
I don't think they'll ever top it. No. Right. They'll never.
He's king shit over there when it comes to the monster cereals.
I mean, if we want to get real here, you know what the monster cereals need, and I feel it maybe would top Count Chocula, is that they made like a peanut butter chocolate fucking cereal.
Yeah, it's funny for the Halloween special this year. I had my segment, so Manny and I were in a segment together, and I told him, I said, all right, so the segment this year is going to be, we're going to create our own monster cereal because Carmella Creeper coming out, being released, inspired me to come up with that idea. And it's a short segment. It's like 5 minutes long. And his flavor was like coffee Java infused, not peanut butter, but like something so left field that I'm like, it would be cool if they actually did something out of the box that's not just one flavor.
Right.
And looks the same. Even though my flavor was basically pumpkin spice, but I kept the cereal the same. Everything was the same that you would expect in a monster cereal. I just made it orange and pumpkin spice. But it would be cool if they did something kind of wild like that. I think people will go insane if they had like a peanut butter, because peanut butter cereal is fucking good and there's not a lot of it.
Peanut butter cereal, like peanut butter in general, anything. And let's be real here. I would say 85% of the population will probably agree that chocolate and peanut butter may be the best or the top 3 combinations ever.
The only way you'd not agree with us is if you're allergic to peanut butter.
Right.
Probably.
Which respectfully we apologize, but still.
Yes, but like that Reese's cereal is crack. Have you ever had it? I don't know if they even make it anymore. That's like that Reese's.
Yeah, they still make it.
Oh, man, it's so good. And wasn't there a peanut butter chocolate Captain Crunch at one point?
There might have been, but I'll say this. The peanut butter Captain Crunch, fire.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm hoping that one year they kind of mix it up and do something a little different where it gets, I feel like they'd have to put a lot of work into that, but who knows? We'll see.
I'm sure it's possible.
They surprised everyone this year with that Carmella Creeper, so maybe next year they'll do something even fucking crazier. But the other thing I want to mention, and it ties into junk food. I want your thoughts on the McBoo Pails. Did you collect all 4?
Nope, I only bought the purple one.
Wow.
The vampire one, that's it.
Oh, dude. So, as soon as they announced them, I was kind of disappointed. I had this conversation with Grimy off air. We weren't recording. I was like, they could have done something a little different, maybe added lids to them or made them more special, but they look exactly like the ones last year. Exactly.
That's why I didn't bother.
They changed the designs a little bit. I got 3 out of the 4. I got the mummy, the skeleton, which is orange for some reason, and the purple one, the witch. No, it's a vampire, not a witch. It's a the witch was last year. It was a vampire this year. I didn't even bother getting I didn't get the Frankenstein one, which is a bummer. So right. I actually wanted that one. To me, the coolest one was the purple one and the mummy.
That's why. Yeah. So I'll tell you my quick experience with this. I got called into for overtime for about a half hour, which I work for the borough I live in, so I literally had to go down the block.
Yeah.
I go to overtime. I come back. It's like 11:30 because I got called in at like 10:30. I literally went to McDonald's and got the pail. I was like, I need to get this pail. So I go in the drive-thru, and I'm talking to the person, and the person's like, hey, what can I get you? And I'm like, do you have the purple what are they called? The McBoo pails?
McBoo pails, the McDonald's Boo pails.
The Halloween, yeah. I think I said the Halloween pails.
Yeah.
And the person like hesitated for a second. Because you know that they have them, but they don't tell you that they have all of them.
Yeah.
And then the person's like, we have them. And I'm like, okay, well, can I just have the pail? And they were like, sure. And they were really nice and pleasant, and like I think they thought it was funny. And yeah, that's it. 11:30.
You don't want the Happy Meal.
At night. I just got the pail. 11:30 at night. A 40-year-old man going out to buy a
Halloween pail. A Halloween pail from McDonald's. So the first one we got was the mummy. So the first one I got my hands on was the mummy one, and I was in Texas. I wasn't even in New York. So we were in Texas, and randomly one night I think we had just left from a haunted house, or which I'm gonna get into later, or the Renaissance Fair. I was in Texas for like a couple of days. So I'm with Sam, my sister.
Shout out to Sam. I haven't talked to her in a while.
And she's doing good. But all of us are together, and there's like 4 of us, and we're like, let's just go to McDonald's and see if we can get the pails. They had just released them. That was the first day they had come out.
Mm-hmm.
So we go straight over there, and I'm like, I really don't want the Happy Meal because obviously I can't eat anything in the Happy Meal. So we go, and Sam goes, all right, can I get 2 Happy Meals, but one without the Happy Meal? Like, can I just get the pail and and then a full Happy Meal? So they charged us for 2 Happy Meals, but just gave us an empty pail as one of them. Mm-hmm. So it was very odd.
It's weird. Some of them are cool about it. Some of them will only charge you. I think I saw it on the screen. It's just Happy Meal toy. I think that's what they charge you
for.
It's
like $2 or something.
Right, it was like $3.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll crush the hell out of a McDonald's cheeseburger.
Yeah.
At 11:30 at night, I'm not doing that. So
it's almost like they anticipate it being kind of chaos because they know people want to collect them, so they have to kind of push people away at certain points when it comes to just buying them individually.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting because I'm trying to think, how did we get the other 2? I think Andrea got one of her coworkers to pick up one by her job, and then the other one, I bought one and gave the food to somebody. I was like, here you go. Do you guys want?
I did that last year too at some point.
Yeah, because I'm just not gonna eat chicken nuggets or a cheeseburger because it's not part of my diet. So yeah, it's always kind of weird. I'll be very honest. If they do it again next year, I'm just gonna
Unless
I'll get
it's
one.
Like a crazy color or something like that.
Like get one. Like just get one of them and keep. I almost did that this year. I was like, I got one.
Well, that's what I did.
Yeah, I was like, I got the mummy. The mummy design's pretty cool, the white one. And then I was like, all right, I will get one more, get another one. Gave up.
Trick-or-treating's more fun with a Happy Meal Boo Bucket. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
All right, so moving on from McBoo pails.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see The Exorcist by any chance? The new one?
Nope, and I have no interest. I never had any interest.
It's not good. Not going to stay on this topic much, but I was just curious because that was the big Halloween movie to come out in theaters this year, and I did not enjoy it. I did go see it, but was very disappointed.
Halloween movies, one movie that I didn't know that was even a thing until a friend of ours, I think it was our friend Benny, told us to watch it, was Dark Harvest. We really liked that movie. Did you see that?
I haven't seen it yet. I've been meaning to check it out. I did hear good things about that one too.
Yeah.
Probably a really better experience than The Exorcist.
It was fun.
What is it called? The Exorcist?
I don't know.
Believer, I think is what it was called.
I don't know. I had absolutely no interest in seeing it.
Not good. Just not a good movie. Like, it's just... Remember when we covered all the Halloween movies and we gave, like, those dudes credit? Like, their movies were kind of fun, their new Halloween movies. We had a good time with them.
I mean, there was some merit to them. Of
course.
Right.
The Exorcist?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Negative. Garbage. There was no merit to it whatsoever. It was a big disappointment, dude. One movie, though, that I would recommend people watch and check out, and they released it at bad time, just because of the theme of the movie and when the movie takes place, is this movie called Cobwebs. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard of it? Lizzie Kaplan's in it. You know who Lizzie Kaplan is? Mm-hmm. And the dude that plays Homelander from The Boys, he's in it as well. Okay. Dude, it takes place on Halloween. It's basically about this little boy and his parents are hiding a secret from him. I don't want to spoil the ending because you haven't seen it. And at the very end, there's a twist. He's talking to somebody in the walls. And there's pumpkins, dude. There's Halloween atmosphere, autumn atmosphere. They released it over the summer when I think it was prime for a September, October release. Very odd. It's on Hulu right now.
I added it.
Yeah, I'd recommend checking it out. And any of the listeners that maybe haven't seen it, great Halloween themed movie that not enough people are talking about. I think if you're like a huge horror, like Cobwebs, yep.
It's not on, is it Cobweb?
Maybe it's Cobweb, sorry. Maybe it's not plural, just Cobweb. But Lizzie Kaplan's in it. I remember that she's in it, and the dude that, I forget the actor that plays Homelander.
Anthony something. His name's Anthony. I know that.
So they're both in it. And
all right, I got it. Yeah, it's Cobweb.
Cobweb. Sorry, it's not plural.
Singular.
It's singular. I don't know why I thought it was Cobwebs. Sorry, wrong title. Cobweb.
Have some self-respect.
I know. Grammar. Who knows it? Who knows grammar? But yeah, dude, it was really good. Really well-made movie. A lot of dude, like their entire backyard is pumpkins. Like you gotta watch it. I could see it being covered here in the future.
I want to see it, so I added it to my letterbox list.
Excellent Halloween vibes, in my opinion. And talking about movies and just on the subject of films, I do want to talk about my failed attempt at doing 31 movies. That 30, you know that challenge people do where it's like 31 movie challenge. You know that whole, I think our friend Mike does it if I remember correctly.
He does.
He does it. I know a lot of people that
Zach,
do it.
Zach did it too. Grip Hook Zach. I think he attempted to do it too.
Yeah, a lot of people, they go on there and they'll either write a review. Some people just put the movie they watched, keep it moving. Then some people do full-blown reviews. I was trying to do kind of brief written reviews.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Put them on TikTok and then have the AI voice say it.
Right.
Basically just read my review, my brief description. And dude, I got to day 13, quit.
Wrap. It's a wrap.
Dude, I just am too busy in October. It's too much. I'm too busy to
get it.
It's impossible for me to sit and watch a movie every day. I'm going to try again next year because I have a plan to kind of free up the month of October a little more for me when it comes to Haunted Hangover and what we do here. So it's just hard, dude. Like, I started it, and as soon as my Texas trip came, it was a wrap. I was like, I'm not going to be able to – I couldn't watch a movie the day we got there. It was just impossible. It was impossible. I know there's people that cheat and don't actually watch the movie and just say they did, but I wanted to be authentic to myself. So I said I have to watch the movie. Could not do it. It was just an impossible – challenge for me to do with the Halloween special, with episodes of the show, with other projects I'm working on. It just wasn't going to happen because I just don't have, there's not enough time in the fucking day for me to sit and watch a movie and then do a little quick little, synopsis of it or a little breakdown or review of it, and then make a TikTok that I can share on, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Threads, all the social medias that I just am overwhelmed by, that I can't even, that's a topic for another day, but there's just too much. And I'm like, no, I gotta pre-plan all this if it's something I want to do with a Haunted Hangover twist in the future. So we'll see. Now, Halloween costumes. I have no idea if you dressed up this year or what you dressed up as.
We didn't.
Why? Why didn't you dress up for Halloween? Why?
So it kind of goes to having not enough time, but also we got sick.
Halloween costumes on my end, I didn't really go crazy this year. I dressed up as the fisherman. So I was supposed to do a couple's costume with the wife as like a couple's deal. We try to do that from time to time whenever we're going to go to like a get together or a party. So Poltney, Chris P. was having, a get together at his place, a Halloween get together, and he invited a bunch of people. So we were going to go as the fisherman from I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Sarah Michelle Gellar's character from that. She bought the dress. She brought like a tiara. Her hair was going to get all crazy. She was going to she was going to wear a blonde wig that is all messed up, and like the mascara running down her face and fake blood. And she got sick. So the same bug that got you probably got her. You guys got her because she ended up not being able to go to the party. So yeah. I ended up just going by myself as a fisherman, lonely with a hook. I was by myself with like the hat, the raincoat.
The lonely fisherman.
The lonely fisherman. I had like a black hat, the black raincoat, the hook. So that was my costume. I was by myself and whatever. Everyone got the point of what I was trying to do. It was very obvious. And then Halloween day, I just wore the standard skeleton jumpsuit.
Same.
Yeah. So I didn't really go too crazy on Halloween day. But speaking of memorable costumes and Chrissy P. I should have had Chris jump in just in this part to talk about his costume. But Chris, and we're gonna get into haunted attractions in a minute, but Chris, we went out one night. This was not the night of his party. The night of his party, Chris dressed up as LA Knight, the wrestler, who's a new wrestler who's becoming a very big deal in WWE at the time. God knows how long that's going to last for. But Chris dressed up as him. He had on sunglasses, LA Knight on his shirt, a vest, and all that stuff. Tight-ass jeans. So he did that whole kind of thing the night of his party. But we went out another night. We did a bunch of Halloween stuff, a group of us. And Chris dressed up as Casey Jones.
I saw that. Yes, that was really good.
Ninja Turtles. Now, what I loved about, and I'm laughing, what I loved about Chris's costume is this very small detail. So we're in line to go do an activity that I'm going to talk about in a second as well. And he comes out. We're in my car. And there's 4 of us in the car sitting in it. We're driving to this haunted house. And he's the only one in the car not wearing a costume. So I'm like, yo, where's your costume? He goes, I'm going to put it on when we get there. I'm like, all right, cool. So we get there. He puts on a sleeveless button-up. He puts on a black wig and then pulls out what looks like a mask, but it's not a Casey Jones mask. It's like a rubber soft mask. And I'm like, yo, what is that? And he goes, oh, it's my Casey Jones mask. I'm like, no, it's not a Casey Jones mask. Yo, he spray painted or painted a Slipknot mask white. He bought on some like Chinese website the guitarist of Slipknot's mask and painted it. And I just thought amazing. It was funny because I was like, yo, you look like a reject member of Slipknot.
That's amazing.
Pretending to be Casey Jones. It was so good. I was just laughing the whole night because I recognize it's like one of the original members of Slipknot. I forget the guy's name. He's
Chrissy
like
P rules.
It's like the big dude with the long hair, and it's like a metal looking mask. Like literally looks like it's made of like iron or
I know
metal.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
He took that mask, but it was like a really flimsy latex version and just painted it white. And I was like, you know what? It works. Instead of spending $80 for a Casey Jones mask, Chris is very crafty with his costumes. He never
resourceful.
He doesn't buy costumes. He just makes them with
I don't
shit
either.
he finds. I know. It's amazing. I always give him credit because I'm like, and he never goes above and beyond where it's almost like a cosplay, which, there's nothing wrong. That's cool too. But I just like how homemade it looks, where it never looks screen accurate.
The best.
I know. It's so good. So that night we were just laughing because he was like a Slipknot Casey Jones with his terrible, bad, like black wig that was all matted down and fucked up. And then he had a tiny hockey stick that was like a foot long. So that just added to the ridiculousness of it. And I loved it. So I wanted to show some love to Chrissy P, because his Casey Jones costume was on point. It was amazing. So the event we ended up going to is one you and I actually went to. So on the topic of, I was heading to something while Chris was dressed as Casey Jones. I ended up revisiting. Remember when we went a few years ago? I don't think we might have talked about this in the podcast briefly. Remember Terra on Totten, the free haunted house?
Yes.
Haunted attraction. I went back this year.
How was it?
And I can tell you right now. So 2 things compared to our experience going. So we went the weekend before Halloween. So Halloween weekend. We waited in line for about an hour and a half. By the way, Terra on Totten is a free haunted attraction here in Queens, where I live. And I believe it's run by FDNY and NYPD. I'm pretty sure that's who runs it, but it's free. And it's, dude, it was chaos when we went. The line was literally about an hour and a half wait, and we waited just because we were on it. We're like, oh, this is moving pretty quick, and it took us. I'm exaggerating. It's probably about an hour to get in. I will say, compared to when you and I went, I think a year or two ago, probably 2 years ago, it's a lot better. Like they upped the ant with it.
They stepped their shit up.
2 floors are a haunted attraction now. I remember we went like downstairs, had some animatronics, and it was more waiting. You're waiting outside, and then you go in and wait some more before they let you upstairs. Yeah. And then the haunt downstairs is a haunt. They have one of those rooms that spins when you go through it. The ones that all the air is pushed in and you're like smushed walking through. Mm-hmm. They stepped a lot more scare. I was like, wow, this is pretty good for a free haunted attraction. Regardless of how you might feel about the NYPD, I will give them credit because they did do a good job with this haunted attraction. Like they did a good job. It was better this year than when we went. I was like shocked. I was like, wow. They still had all the Misfit shit out. Remember we saw all that Misfit stuff everywhere?
Yeah, that was strange.
It was odd. And they still had that out. It wasn't as in your face, but dude, I was impressed. And like, Chris was with me, Andrea was with me, my other friend was, another friend of mine, she was with me, and they had never been. So they were like surprised. They're like, wow, this is actually free. So Terra on Totten. I'd go again. Whatever. It's it is what it is. Free haunted attraction. Apparently they might be moving next year. We'll see. We'll find out. Who knows? But I just thought I'd share that because you and I went a few years ago, and you enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, it was fine. It was enjoyable. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's almost like a home haunt. Like that's basically what it is. But it's in a warehouse.
I love home haunts. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a giant home haunt, but in a warehouse run by the cops. So, if you don't like the cops, the popo, keep it moving, I guess. So, 2 more things. And then I'm going to ask you if you went to any haunts. I would love to hear what haunts you went to this season. I just put up a review of one of my I didn't go to many haunts this year. I've been very picky with the ones I'm going to since I'm reviewing them now. I try not to. I'm trying to go to ones outside of New York when I'm going to review them. That's kind of the way I see it now. So if I'm going to one here, I'd rather it be one that's I've been to and I'm just going to have fun. I don't have to like put on my like Louis reviewing hat on, when I go through it. I just want to have a good time. But I went to one called Creepy Hollow, which was in Texas. Excellent haunt. Go check out my review. It's on the channel. It was posted right before this episode. So go check that out. Creepy Hollow was a good time. I really enjoyed it. I went to Chambers of Hell, their malevolent media night back in September. Manny came with me. We did a vlog, interviewed some of the creatures, interviewed one of the dudes that Manny interviewed him, one of the guys that runs the place. They put on a show. We went through I think one or two of the haunts for free. That was really cool. They always look out for us, Chambers of Hell. So shout out to them. Go check out that vlog
Awesome.
too. It's pretty entertaining. Me sitting there and scare actors are in character going up to me and I'm interviewing them. I kind of come off as an asshole. So shout out to all of them because I was not making fun of you. I was just having a good time interviewing you guys in character.
Having a good time.
Having a good time. And I went to Schmidt's Farms Haunt, which was, I'll leave it at this, not very good the night I went. So,
They don't do. Listen,
Yeah.
I've gone to that haunt many a times.
We've been together.
Anything different every year. It's the same thing every year.
And it's a little just boring now. I was going through this and I was like, this is the same corn maze.
It's the same shit.
The same barn.
I'll say this. The corn maze is probably the best thing about it because just being out there in that corn maze at night, that atmosphere is very awesome.
Oh, dude. The moon was a full moon the night we went. So
that's like the best thing about it. Like I don't ever need to go to Schmidt's Farm again.
Yeah, dude. It was a family thing that it was like a bunch of family members we went. So it's like that's why I ended up going. I was with my family, but otherwise I wouldn't have voluntarily gone because they do the same thing and it's
generic as hell.
Yeah, it's not. A lot of the shit wasn't working and it was bad,
That's a good lead into one of the haunts that I went to.
Yeah,
so
let's
if you're
hear
ready
it.
for me. All right. So we went to 2 haunts this year. We went to one called Jason's Woods, which is fine. It's exactly all right. It's better than Schmidt's Farm, but it's nothing spectacular. If that makes any sense. Like it's fine. It's a good haunt to go to kick off Halloween.
Nothing state of the art. They're not doing anything out of the ordinary.
I mean, they had some cool stuff with the hayride where like it would attach to a track, and then like the track, like the actual like hayride itself would go up and down and shake and shit and vibrate, which is cool. I mean, whatever. That was fine, but then this is the real creme de la creme. We went to a haunt called Shocktoberfest. The name escaped me for a second.
I've been to Shocktoberfest. It's dope.
Have you?
Yeah,
it's
years
great.
ago. Yeah,
It's fucking great.
Yeah, the prison.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Picture, for our listeners that have never been, picture a haunt that looks like it's on, and this is not done on purpose to like make it look like Friday the 13th or anything. It feels like a campground. Like the entire way it's laid out feels like a campground. You have like this prison thing. You have this hayride, which is a hayride pulled by a truck, which is really funny. And there was something else, like a regular haunted house, and then there was some other stuff. And picture, the best way to describe it is if you were to have a budget and let kids run it. And this is what happens when you let kids run a thing that's got money to it. Because that fucking hayride was like being in a fucking shot-on-video zombie movie, man.
Yeah,
it was great.
I'm dying to go back and review it on the show. I might have to do it. It's in Allentown, right? It's right outside of Allentown, if I remember correctly. No,
it's
I know it's not far from Allentown.
I forgot the name of the town. I forgot the name of the city or whatever it's in, but it is great. Like honestly,
they can touch you too, from what I remember.
Yeah, they were grabbing you and shit.
What's your stance on that? Because
I don't care. It's fine.
So Creepy Hollow, they also were allowed to touch you. So I'm curious. So you didn't mind? Were they grabbing you behind the neck, dude? I hate that shit. Yeah, I hate that. It just skeeves me out. It doesn't even scare me. It just skeeves me out.
I know. It's just like, but there was one part. So in the beginning where like they brief you, like where you're going through this zombie thing, like, oh, just, there must have been a holdup with the truck in front of us.
Yeah.
So for 10 minutes, the same zombie just kept walking around going, "Arr, arr."
That sounds fantastic.
Sheila was cracking up. She
Yo,
couldn't stop laughing.
I love how
It
he
was
just
absurd.
stood in character while
He just kept circling around us, crawling on everybody, just going, "Arr, arr."
So you guys was just stuck there.
It was amazing.
Dude, that sounds. I love how it was one dude.
Just
and
one side. It was a kid. It wasn't even a dude. It was a kid.
He was probably so confused. He
Yo.
was like, "Yo, this car needs to move already." What the fuck?
And then there was
man.
one point where all these teenagers start coming, like jumping on to the fucking the hayride. They don't have shirts on. Like they're just running.
God.
They're running around like scaring people, and they kept jumping off the hayride and jumping back on, and they just kept coming onto the hayride and going
my
off the
God.
hayride. It was amazing.
Yeah, dude, I have to go back. I went. I'd say this was maybe 10 years ago. So it's been a long time.
right.
Yeah. And I think since
My first time.
Yeah, since I've been, they've evolved, and it's an even bigger event now. I remember when I went the first year, they put you in a paddy wagon to take you to the prison.
Yes, they still do that.
They still do that? Yeah, dude.
Yes.
The one thing I will never forget about that prison is that you go through, at one point, the escape. Like, you're going through, like, these two tunnels that's supposed to be how the prisoners are escaping. I don't remember. Maybe they changed it.
There might have been something like that.
Yeah,
I will say
yeah.
this. There was one part where there was like a DIY mechanical worm in there.
What?
And I was like, yo,
dude,
this
next year
is
I'm going.
insane.
Yeah.
Like, it was huge. Like
I'm
an
going next
animatronic
year.
worm.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
fucking
God.
awesome.
I-
If you
I
ever
have
seen the
to,
Deadly Spawn, it looked like one of the
Yeah,
things
yeah.
from the Deadly Spawn.
I know exactly. I could picture what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah, dude. I have to go back to Shocktoberfest. Is it Shocktoberfest or Shocktober? Just Shocktober.
Shocktoberfest.
Fest. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
always remember
awesome.
when I went and just seeing their website and how they've kind of added other experiences to it. It's probably like Creepy Hollow, honestly, because there's like new metal playing and people with fucking fire and shit. And there's fucking like 3 different haunted houses, people running after each other. It's almost like the Wild West of haunted attractions. That's
It's
how
great.
Texas was as well. You
Sure.
know? Very party atmosphere.
11 out of 10.
Wow, that's good.
It was great.
Did they play new metal? Was new metal
I think
playing?
I think there was a part where there's always a part where new metal's playing.
Yo, I feel like every haunted house,
Yeah.
it's especially when you go to some of these. I would love to see a haunted house run by juggalos because I feel like that's all that
be
we're
amazing.
missing. Because that's what some of these haunted houses feel like. It's like I'm waiting for just juggalos to appear.
Yeah.
Because it just feels like that environment is tailor made for the juggalos. Speaking of juggalos, real quick, and we'll move on to the next topic. I was at Duff's Halloween weekend. You know Duff's Metal Bar, Brooklyn, one of my favorite places to go.
One
I
of
was
Tommy
there.
Valley's favorite places.
T. Vizzle, one of his favorite places. No, he likes Lucky. He likes Lucky 13. That's the other part of Brooklyn.
That's his
He's there.
other. That's his other place.
That's the other place. But I'm in Duff's. I'm hanging out. And these 2 dudes walk in, and their costumes, they were juggalos. They had the
Amazing.
full face paint, the hockey jersey, and literally when they walk in, they go, whoop, whoop. That was the first thing that they said. When they go up, I think they were drunk. So these 2 dudes, they go up to the bartender, and they just go, whoop, whoop. They were trying to get her attention. So, you know what I hope? They were actually
amazing.
juggalos. I hope they were just juggalos not wearing costumes.
Maybe.
They just showed up at Duff's. But it's New York, Williamsburg, like Hipsterville. I don't think
It's
there's too many.
possible.
I don't
It's
think there's too many juggalos out
Probably
there.
not, but it's possible.
They were definitely wearing those costumes. Ironically, I don't think it was done because they're fans of ICP.
Okay.
But
That's great though.
Yeah, I just thought it was amazing. We were sitting there and I just saw the 2 juggalos. And I just saw whoop whoop. That was it. And I was like, all right, here we go. So what did you end up doing on Halloween Day?
Well, Halloween, I worked and basically, let's see. We had a really, you know what? We were both sick, so
Yeah.
we got takeout. We carved jack-o'-lanterns. We
always
watched
fun.
Jacko. We watched Halloween 4. we did take a little cruise around the neighborhood and saw, took all it in, and everybody, because we live in a pretty like picturesque Halloween. Like if you were to come, like these blocks, they look really good during Halloween. And yeah, we ended up participating obviously in the Great Pumpkin Project. We brought our jack-o'-lanterns, we lit them up, and we brought them to a house that was really cool, coolly decorated around the corner. And we had a nice conversation with the homeowners, and they were so happy. We wanted to give them our jack-o'-lanterns. We put them on their property, and that was it. It was it was a really good Halloween. Very low key, but very great. So
shout out to Adam. Always gotta give shout out to Adam.
Shout
Great
out to
Pumpkin
Adam.
Project. Yeah.
How about you?
I also participated. The weekend of Halloween we carved a pumpkin. I took it to Forest Park here, not far from me. Shot my standard Haunted Hangover video for my little atmospheric video for the pumpkin, and put the tags on it and did all that good stuff. Always, at this point it's a tradition. We'd be doing Adam dirty if we didn't do it. So
yeah, I felt not right not doing it, so we had to do it.
Had to be done.
Yeah.
My Halloween day, hung out with family, went trick or treating. Last year, nieces and nephews, we took them. There's this area called Little Neck. Little Neck. If you're not from New York, you don't know where the hell that is, but it's in kind of the borderline of Queens, Long Island, Nassau County. And this area, similar to where you live, very Halloween-y. Leaves on the ground, trick-or-treaters everywhere. There's, a scenic view of the water, and you see across from the sun setting. Just everything about it's great, and we go trick-or-treating with them for like 2 or 3 hours. We're out there just walking around for miles, and it's interesting because the kids are getting older. They're 9, 10, and now it's like a group of them are walking. They're with like their school friends and the parents, and it's like 15 people running around, between the kids and the adults, and we're just going to every house, and they're giving us candy because we're in costumes too. So obviously we're taking whatever candy the people are giving us from their homes. So it's always fun. It's always a good, it's a good experience doing it with them because it gives us a reason to kind of relive trick-or-treating because don't have kids of my own. So this is the only way I'll do it, So that's it's been fun doing that with them the past 2 years because now they're old enough where they can stay out a little later now and, it gets dark. We're still trick-or-treating. Yo, dude, nothing beats desolate streets at around 8 o'clock in October. It's dark and kids are still trick-or-treating. Like there was this year, there was a point where I was by myself. I don't know where everybody else was. I was alone. I think I was taking pictures.
My man,
and
I'm sitting.
No, I wasn't shook. I was just taking pictures of Halloween atmospheric pictures. And I'm standing there and I'm alone and I see the kids and I see like my family and the kids way in the distance. And I'm just like, yo, this is Halloween right here. This is it.
There's always a moment.
Yes.
There's always that moment where it's like, this is Halloween. I get it. I totally get it.
It was eerie out. It was dark. It was a little cold. I hear trick-or-treaters in the distance. There's a bunch of pumpkins lined up in front of people's houses and decorations. It was great, man. Just kind of everything about it just felt right. The last 2 years, and especially this year, there was something about that evening that it was dark and just cold and creepy, and it felt right, man.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm very happy I'm able to kind of experience that with them, and
absolutely
with the wife and sisters-in-law and brother-in-law and all that stuff. Just kind of being able to do this with them, and it's a lot of fun, man. It's very nostalgic, even though it's happening for the next generation. They're the ones doing what we did 25, 30 years ago. So I just thought that was really dope.
It is, and I can tell you what Sheila and I's moment was that at least for me.
What was it?
Was Halloween. Like, this is Halloween. So the town that we live in is an old steel town. A lot of these towns in Pennsylvania are like these old coal steel towns, whatever. And the layout of these towns can be weird. And, there's some streets, like there's a ton of these back alley streets that you would never know existed. Like if you were just to drive by, like all these houses, like there's these tiny ass little alleys. I got to drive garbage trucks down these fucking alleys. It's nerve wracking.
Yeah.
So we're going down one of the blocks and there's these two people on. So there's an try to picture this. There's an apartment building. You can see my hand. And then if you look beyond my hand, there's like a hill. These two people, because where their house was, they didn't get trick-or-treaters. They set up on the hill.
Oh,
they
wow.
They made a table.
That's cool.
And it was a really cool-looking table. It looked like a fortune teller's table. And they had a whole array of treats. They had, like, pretzels and chips. They had, like, fruity candies. And then they had, like, chocolate and stuff like that. And we passed by, and we said, Happy Halloween to them. And they said, Happy Halloween. And they were like, come get some candy. And they told us why they were there is because they couldn't go in front of their house because it's on a busy street and nobody goes down it. So they had to set up on a side block on a hill, which I absolutely loved.
That's cool, yeah.
And they're like they're set up and everything, and they were just sitting out there in their little costumes. It was great, and they were like probably like late 20s, I would say, like mid to late 20s. These two, it was awesome. So that was my moment.
Those are people that love Halloween, and they're going out of their way to celebrate,
right? And they were like, "Tell people we're over here."
Yeah, that's
so
cool,
it was
man.
it was cool.
That's like the purest, most innocent form of the holiday. So that's really cool. I'm glad we both had moments like that this year. This was the year that moments were had for some reason on Halloween night that we both kind of felt that. So to close out the episode, your overall 2023 spooky season, what would you give? It was
great.
Yeah,
10 out of 10.
11.
Great. How about you? Yeah.
11. Yeah, man. You know, it was a busy season as always, just because of this, you know. It definitely showed me that I need to kind of recalibrate the way I do stuff so that I can also enjoy the holiday and create content.
Absolutely.
Like I've been doing for the last 4 years, you know. So for me, it's just kind of balancing the two. You know, sometimes I get so caught up in Haunted Hangover that I forget to take a step back and enjoy Halloween and enjoy the spooky season. And that's what this year taught me. I was like, you know what? I got to really kind of prep a little more, do some more stuff in advance where I can just have some moments to myself as well to enjoy and celebrate like everyone else, instead of it being coming on here and talking about spooky shit all the time, which I will continue to do, but it's more so kind of just doing it in a way where it's done in advance instead of during the spooky season. And, you know, all the editing, dude, all the editing is really what's the killer. It's not really doing this. It's not recording the show. It's not shooting stuff. It's more so what goes into it. And there's just certain things you can't do when it's not the spooky season. So I have to just take that into account. But otherwise, I can't complain, man. I love doing this shit, and I love Halloween. It ain't going to change. So, you know?
Never.
And next year is going to be even crazier. I got a lot of crazy plans. So people that follow us, you know, I know there's some of you out there that like the stuff we do with the Halloween special, with the show, with maybe some other videos, maybe some new ideas I got cooking that I definitely... There's one big one that I'm going to do next year, and it should be fun. And I'll say this as a teaser to next year. It involves a jack-o'-lantern. So
okay,
we shall see what ends up happening.
I want to throw one thing out there, and it's something that I think you should do a live thing for Haunted Hangover, and obviously I would be there. Yes. You should come to the Crypt Video Rentals pop-up in Philly, which is the Philomoka. It's held at Philomoka. Yeah. And it's a VHS swap. And it's fucking awesome. It's set up like a video store. It's put on by Tapes from the Crypt. And there's lots of cool vendors there. Other podcasts. I think that's something that we should definitely... I'm down. It's awesome. It's in October? I wanted to highlight that. Yeah, it's in October. They do a few pop-ups. But I think the first one was always October. But they do a few. So if there's one coming up, I'll let you know. Definitely have to do that in the future. That sounds lovely. That sounds like a good time. So look forward to doing that either during the spooky season or maybe before the spooky season. We shall see. I just love Halloween. So that was the post 2023 Halloween season episode. Be sure to subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok,
at Haunted Hangover. Head over to hauntedhangover.com for links to all stuff associated with Haunted Hangover, including our Patreon page, which features spooky bonus content.
And if you could rate and review us, that would be greatly appreciated.
And as always, remember, the best cure for a hangover is
More booze.
catch you guys later.
Bye.